Hi, welcome to my video on the issue of policing domestic abuse that is prevalent internationally. Domestic abuse can vary from psychological, physical, emotional, sexual, and finally financial. According to the Crime Survey for England and Wales in 2017, an estimated 1.9 million adults aged 16 to 59 years experienced domestic abuse, and this is without consideration of the dark figure of crime. The Minister for Preventing Abuse and Exploitation, Karen Bradley, said no one should live in fear of domestic abuse, which is why the government has made ending violence a priority. Therefore, police worldwide are using different methods in order to provide a service that disciplines offenders, sympathises with victims, and provides adequate support for those who feel affected by these offences, whilst dealing with many other aspects of the job. Hence why agencies feel it is necessary that chief constables respond by changing radically their response to domestic violence. They owe it to the victims of these appalling crimes to do so. Over time, the requirements for the police are less focused on the laws and politics behind domestic abuse, but more focused on displaying an emotional empathy and support to the victim. Historically, officer training has focused primarily on managing the criminal justice and legislative aspect, which had an enormous effect on the breakdown of relationship and trust of the victim and the police force. There's a significant lack of soft skills, such as emotional intelligence, to be best equipped for the complexity of domestic abuse. Therefore, more adequate training needs to be provided. To contrast this, police officers can find it extremely difficult to deal with these sensitive topics due to the emotional strain and perhaps lack of training for composing yourself while showing the correct amount of compassion for the victims. In 2016, a report published that the police force are moving away from traditional law enforcement techniques that they utilise and focus upon provisional support and becoming victim-oriented. Dealing with cases surrounding children within a home experiencing domestic violence are extremely difficult situations for the police, as the children may not have physically been abused, but the majority of the cases they're abused psychologically and emotionally. Police have been criticised over time for having inadequate training to equip them with the skills necessary to deal effectively with the needs of the victim. Furthermore, according to Amanda Robertson, empirical research has not only identified the weaknesses in how the police deal with this crime, it also provided the impetus for drastic change in the policy structures and recommended practices for police officers worldwide. The Magistrate Inspector of the Constabulary found a range of different and inconsistent risk-based practices across forces, combined with the troubling assessment that officers generally had low level of appreciation as to why risk assessment is so important. and a poor understanding of what to do beyond the dash form. The police forces respond to different levels of abuse by trigger phrases such as relationship separation, which is treated as a heightened risk factor by the police. However, how are the police call operators meant to assess the severity of the situation of perhaps a distressed victim in order of priority? An alternative justice mechanism available in the UK is the out-of-court resolution, which we can define as consisting of a range of police-led restorative justice practices, approaches, or techniques. They seek to resolve to an individual or community-level dispute or conflict. Studies found that every police force in England, Wales, and Northern Ireland used the out-of-court resolution to respond to domestic abuse in 2014. Illustrating that the police forces are producing new methods in order to satisfy the communities while ensuring their primary aim of supporting the victim. Technological advancements have resulted in a positive relationship between the police, the criminal justice system, and victims. The Metropolitan Police implemented a new system called Technological SOS Mobile Phone Strategy, which has been successful in increasing victim confidence and empowerment, expedited police response, and also increase in early arrests. Moreover, a large number of forces are required to use the risk-led policing method that consists of the DASH framework to ensure correct information is recorded. However, from this method, it is hard for the officers to truly represent the raw emotions that can take place with these call-outs. Therefore, criticism has been made against the police force themselves with using these specific methods of policing. To overcome this, the use of body cams have become a pivotal part in securing convictions due to the notion that even without a statement from the victim, the footage can be enough for the jury to sentence the criminal. Body cams provide context behind the paperwork. With some victims, they feel that reporting the individual can often lead to an escalation in abuse. The Women's Aid organisation provides adequate support to the victim of domestic abuse while setting out the role and responsibilities of the police provide, such as removing the risk of further violence, offering the victim support and reassurance, and also arranging transport to a safe location if required. There are a number of organisations that empower victims and provide the right support to ensure that crime stays in the past, with the police ensuring that their focus is always upon the victim and that the new methods are sufficient in gathering the correct evidence and data even without a statement from the victim. I'm hoping for a more positive outlook on the work of the police force that they are completing. Thanks for watching.